Okay, and I said we dead serious even though we smiling. Episode 56. It's official.
Yep.
P, what's going on with you, man?
Not much, man.
How you doing, Daddy?
I'm chilling.
What's the word?
What's the matter? You need a little energy drink this
Nah,
morning?
I told
You're very
you.
chill.
I'm very serious today. I'm real. Okay, you know what I'm saying, Daddy? Smell when I'm cooking. I'm sorry, Rock. I had to take your theme, but I see you with the tool.
Yeah.
What's that all about? Let me hear something.
That's a new joint I just got.
It looks crispy, man. I gotta step my T-shirt game up because you always come in looking crispy with the logos and everything. You're making me look a little
Yo,
pathetic over
look
here.
what you're wearing.
I know, I am
That's a
pathetic.
little sad. It is a
Speaking
little
of pathetic.
pathetic.
But anyway, I see there's a guy over here. We dusted him. What's going on, Daddy?
It's been a minute. It's good to be back. It's been a few months.
How you feeling, man?
I feel good. I feel good. Ready to talk some football, ready to talk some basketball, whatever on the docket, I'm ready to go.
All right, forget that. What's going on with you, man?
Just life, man. Busy day today. Just went to the dentist, got a doctor's
What did
appointment.
they say? How many cavities? 8,
Zero,
9?
zero, zero. I'm good about it.
You're doing better
Good.
than me, baby.
Brush and floss twice a day. That's the way.
Is that the secret?
That's my secret.
But you heard of brush and floss twice a day. What's on deck today? What's on deck? Somebody let me hear
We
something.
got everything. Everything.
WNBA?
If you want to talk about it.
UFC?
Caitlin Clark's eliminated, so we can if you want.
UFC? Are we talking UFC
Let's talk
this
a little
weekend?
UFC. Yeah.
MLB.
MLB. Oh, wait. College, too. Did you get to see any of that heavyweight bout?
Can we talk about? Oh, we can talk about Georgia, Alabama a lot, but can we talk about Miami, Virginia Tech? That was
That was
insane.
What was that, Friday night?
That was Friday night.
That looked tough.
Controversial catch at the end, or not catch as it turned out.
And you know we got to talk about the NFL. That's
What?
obvious.
Creme de la creme.
Oh,
I didn't even know they played last week.
Why are you saying that? Why are you saying that? There's a lot of injuries, too.
Yep.
Yo.
A few untimely deaths too. And
Oh, that's sad.
Pete Rose,
R.I.P.
Dikembe
Pete
Mutombo.
Rose, R.I.P. Makembe. No, Mutombo.
No, not today.
Wow. What's going on, man?
People dropping like flies.
Marvin Gaye, what's going on? It makes you look back. Well, not look back, but I'm like, I remember Pete Rose. I remember when he played for the Phillies. I remember Mutombo when he played for my Sixers. That's crazy, man.
Defensive.
Yeah,
Juggernaut.
he was a monster.
Yeah.
Yo, what was it? Brain
cancer.
cancer.
He's like what, 56? Was he 50? Yeah,
I
56.
think 56,
No, 58,
58.
58. He wore number 55.
Yeah.
That would have made.
We talked about him last week.
I know, going backwards. I hate doing this. Wow, we probably should have. I don't know. I feel a certain type of way.
It's
But
sad because
anyway.
he's an amazing human being too. Like he did so much. for
Humanitarian
people.
and stuff.
Yeah.
He was the first global ambassador for them.
Yo, I don't even know where to go. You guys are bringing me down.
Oh,
But-
hold on. Well, let's start talking about something else. We look a little bit different in here today.
Yo, where we at, Daddy?
You should know.
My man Bruce Livingston let us in the building. We are live from the Ave, 1428 Hartford Avenue, Johnston. Big up.
In my hometown.
Yeah.
You're in my hood now.
You gotta be careful riding through here. They only let a couple through at a time, if you know what I mean. How you feel about the commute in today?
Nice. 5 minutes. Nice
Nice
easy
and crispy,
commute.
so you come in,
No
go
traffic,
back home,
nothing.
take a nap, then hit the road.
Yeah.
Jack. What else? What we got going on? They got any kind of
Oh, they
specials?
got,
anything?
they got stuff going on like almost every day. They're not open
Every
Sundays.
day. They're not open on Sundays.
Don't say every day. Not every day. But
Sundays they're closed.
Mondays they got half price wings and boneless bites.
Boom.
Yeah, that's good for football, right?
Crispy.
Then they got tacos and tequila trivia on Tuesdays.
Tacos and trivia.
They got $3 tacos, $6 margaritas.
Ooh, yes.
That
You can't beat
right
that.
there. Wednesday they have now. It's tentatively called R&B night. Don't come here thinking
Don't come
Marvin
in
Marvin
thinking-
Gaye's going to be
Don't
playing.
think that Mary Jane's gonna be on the airwaves. What's the R&B for?
Half price ribs,
Ribs.
and music bingo.
And music bingo.
R&B.
R&B stands for ribs and bingo, not rhythm and blues, people. Make sure.
So no Casey and JoJo in the mix.
No,
All
no R.
my
Kelly.
life, I wait for someone like you. And I'm going to. Go ahead, P. I love
Can't
singing.
deny R&B on Wednesday.
Thursday night's a country night. Your type of thing.
What we doing?
Line
The
dancing.
stepping, the line stepping?
Yeah, the line dancing.
And they got the football games, though. Thursday night games.
Yep.
They got, okay. That's dope. This is the spot, man. The
spot.
Ab. The
Right.
Ab is the spot.
And then on Friday nights, one of your special DJ nights.
Okay.
I mean, you can
They have a
relate to.
special guest DJ every Friday night.
Yep, Saturday at 9.
So it's not the same.
DJs
Okay,
from all over New England.
okay boom. That's
It's Saturday
Christmas.
night karaoke. So if you want to get your singing on,
Wow.
there's stuff going on every night here.
My voice is kind of hoarse, but I would come here and shut down karaoke. You know what I'm saying? I'm that dude.
I can
That's-
actually sing a little bit too. I may
There
have
you
to
go.
get in the mix on that.
Give me a little song. Give me something. What can you sing?
Do you really want me to?
Yeah. Give me
We're
something.
gonna do it live?
Yes. Do
Oh
it.
my god.
All right, you can put him on the
Don't-
spot.
Don't put him on the spot like that.
You'll never find bung bung blah blah blah. But anyway, we're getting carried away. I'm sorry. My voice is out of there, man. But the
I'll
Eagles.
give you something.
Go ahead. Give me a little thing.
Ever I believe my work is done, then I'll start back at one.
He's gonna
Yes.
be he's gonna be here on Rib Night, Rib and Bingo Night, performing live.
Who is that?
Jameson.
Brian McKnight?
That was.
Episode 56. Brian. I didn't even say Brian McKnight. Go ahead,
We
Pete.
didn't. Did we say why?
We had some R&B, you know?
Episode 56. Do we got to debate it?
I'm getting carried
You are getting way ahead of yourself today.
Because I get so excited when we do the podcast. I can't help
We
it.
got
Alright,
R&B
there he goes.
in the mix.
But
That's
go
When
ahead.
why.
Jameson's singing to you, I think you got a little excited.
I was singing to the world.
He's like, oh.
So who is 56? Let's keep it up.
There's really one person.
No, not
Chris
one
Dolman?
person. Dolman?
Andre Tippett for the New England fans.
Give me Tippett.
It's LT, baby.
Let's
Give me
rate it.
Lawrence.
It's LT.
Give me Lawrence Taylor.
Arguably-
Dang, number one.
Arguably the greatest NFL defensive player of all time.
Really?
I would go
So
on.
here's the thing. You're saying arguably?
Yeah.
I don't even think it's. I think it's just.
Some people could argue it,
You can make an.
Who are you arguing that with?
but then it would be
When
different
you-
positions. Like
He
Yeah.
revolution. I'll give you that
Yeah,
for
yeah.
positions, but he revolutionized that position.
Bruce Smith had 200 sacks. You got to give him some credit. He's not LT. I'm just saying.
But then you can say he was an end. He was an end and not a linebacker.
Yeah.
Linebacker, he's probably the greatest.
LT lined up everywhere. He was everywhere.
I'll
You
throw
were,
it.
you were scheming for LT. You just had to.
I'll
When
throw
you
a
played
name.
the Giants, go ahead, baby.
Ed Reed,
Oh,
one of the best safeties.
Okay.
Probably the best safety I've ever seen.
I'll give you safety.
Free safety. There's no one like Ed Reed that covered sideline to sideline. It was
Yeah.
Belichick was scared of him even
Okay.
when he had Brady.
Yeah.
You're starting your franchise. LT's on the board and Ed Reed's on the board. Who you taking?
You're taking LT.
Let's keep it up on 50. Lawrence Taylor in the booth. Come back, Kings, episode 56. We also got Brian McKnight.
Yo, what's up? We're back. Come back, Kings, episode 56. LT in the building.
Yes.
We're gonna talk some quick hits first. Lawrence Taylor.
Yes.
Speaking of hitting, LT.
Hits LT. Hitting hard.
Let's talk about some baseball playoffs. Everything's all set. Everything got locked in last night.
Yeah. So
Me-
who's in it? Who's out
Mets
of it?
made
Who's
it in.
The Mets.
Amazingly.
Okay.
Amazing Mets. That's how I did that. We got 4 games tonight. Wild card division.
Who's tonight?
We
Yeah.
have Tigers facing the Astros in Houston at
Is this
2:30.
a one gamer?
No,
This
best
is
of
a
3.
three-game.
Best of three. Best
Okay,
of three.
boom. All
Then
right.
we have Kansas City on the road facing Baltimore at 4 o'clock.
Best of 3.
5:30 we have the Mets taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. And we cap it off with the Atlanta Braves on the road against the San Diego Padres. A lot of people's dark horse to possibly win the World Series at 12-1. So just throwing that out
San
there.
Diego.
A lot of good pitching out there.
San Diego.
Yes.
That's the squad.
That's what some people say.
We'll see what happens. What's up, man?
my-
What's up, P?
And my worst nightmare, if Baltimore makes it through that first wild card round,
Yankees.
then they get the Yankees.
Wow. They've owned the Yankees this year or no?
They're definitely tough against the Yankees. That's the one team I didn't want to face.
And it's looking like coming your way.
I mean, the Yankees are kind of just they managed to get in, but they weren't looking strong at the end of the year. I mean, the Pittsburgh series, they should have just killed them,
Yeah.
and they didn't. But then again, you could just say they didn't really care because they had everything locked up. But
But you still don't want to do that, too, though.
yeah, you don't want to
You know
go
what
in
I mean?
weak.
Yeah, going in like that.
It's always harder to play when you have motivation.
So
on
who's
the
Baltimore
table.
got right now? Who do they
KC.
have?
KC.
That's the Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody know how they fared against them during the season? No?
Not off the top
Offhand?
of my head.
Yeah,
no.
no.
Wow. So you're praying that Kansas City wins that.
I'd rather see Kansas City the way they've played Baltimore this year. Yeah.
Wow.
Baltimore is sneaky good.
Corbin Burns is a legit ace. Really good for Baltimore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yankees have had their issues of different things throughout the season this year. Starting pitching started off on fire, and then it started faltering.
Sizzle?
They've had. I don't like that they're so home run predicated. I love Soto and Judge hitting back to back, and Stanton. But sometimes if that's not happening, they're not scratching out runs. They're not producing runs, and then they've had trouble with closer too with Clay Holmes. Wow. So
Yeah.
he's not a closer now, but. I mean,
Yeah.
I miss the days of Mariano Rivera where you didn't have to think
You
about
didn't have to worry about it.
No, for
You
what was
knew
it,
he was
15
coming
years?
in to
You
clean
didn't have
up.
to worry about anything.
Wow.
As a Red Sox fan, I just want to say this one thing. I'll never forget when they won the World Series in 2004 and had their home opener, and then Mariano Rivera was introduced and he got cheered.
Well, that was because he gave up that.
Blew a couple games.
Yeah.
The greatest of all time as a closer, for sure.
Is he the GOAT?
As a closer, yes. Wow. Absolutely. The best one pitch of all time, maybe. That cutter was
Yep.
insane.
What else you got, P?
Next round would be if Houston to Detroit, whoever advances will get Cleveland.
Which is interesting.
The Guardians?
Guardians.
Guardians of the Galaxy? What's Cleveland doing? Nobody's talking about them at all.
It's because they're Cleveland.
It's a
Because of
weaker
Cleveland?
division.
Yeah.
Because it's Cleveland?
Yeah.
So you don't see them making any noise.
I'd be worried if
It's
Houston-
baseball.
Yeah.
So anything's possible, but I do want to say this. I got to give respect to Jose Ramirez. The guy looks like
Is
the
that Manny
average.
Ramirez's cousin?
He looks like an average Joe,
Yeah.
physique-wise,
Yeah.
but might be one of the best hitters in the game. He's up there. Just switch
He
hitter.
looks like Manny to me, though, no? Have you seen that cat? He reminds me of Manny a little bit,
He's
but
too,
maybe
pu-
I'm
he's,
off.
he's too pudgy to
Yeah.
be Manny. Manny was like, we all make fun of Manny for his antics. That dude
Yeah.
was jacked and in shape
I
in
give
his
you that. I
prime.
give you
Like,
that. And he wore like the baggy clothes so you wouldn't really
yeah,
be
so you
able to
didn't
tell.
realize, but
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
ripped. Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
What else you got, P?
Well, the NL's got San Diego and Atlanta. I think either one of those teams can give LA
They're both
trouble.
dangerous.
Yes.
LA is in for a world of hurt.
Can we
whoever
talk
they have
about
to
my
face.
Phillies?
We're getting
Nobody's
there.
talking
We're
about them?
we're getting there.
No? Nothing?
Yeah.
You're not giving them a
We're
shot?
gonna get there. That's the
All right,
final. That's
do your dance.
That's
do your
quadrant
dance.
4.
I want to hear about the Phillies, Daddy. I want to hear about the Illy Phillies.
The Milwaukee or New Mets. Either one. I think the Phillies will.
Could beat both
Yeah.
of them. Their
I-
problem's going to be if they have to face the Dodgers, San Diego, or Arizona. Is Arizona in it?
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
You mean? Yeah.
Wow.
Arizona got eliminated.
They
yesterday.
did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Craziness in baseball yesterday. Those are great games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Seeing that we're on baseball, let's talk about the passing of Pete Rose a little bit. Controversial
Why is it
person.
why though? Because the
What?
gambling?
Wait, he didn't die?
Yeah, no, he did. No.
Oh, I thought that was a controversial
No,
part.
no. The controversy
The
is
controversy is Hall of Fame, the gambling scandal, things of that nature.
Most hits all time, most games played all time.
He's had 3 World Series MVP, NL MVP, NL Rookie of the Year, 3 times batting champion, 17-time All-Star, and has the most hits out of anybody that's ever played. Now, he did put 24 years in.
19 with the Reds.
Yeah.
So do you put him? I don't know how to. What do you do? Do you put him in the Hall of Fame?
I think you treat him like an artist. Now that he's dead, you got to put him in the Hall of Fame. Wow. You got to make he becomes greater.
Wow.
I think his problem was if he admitted it at the beginning and just...
Who was the commissioner or the guy at that time?
Was it Bud Selig?
No, before
And he's the
him.
guy that put the hammer down.
It was oh my
He
god.
was the
he's
guy that put
famous
the
too.
hammer down. And then everybody else after him followed suit. They like, no, this guy said there's no way you're ever getting in, and that's fine.
Well, he made a deal apparently back in the day about that with
Yeah.
with the commissioner, but he always denied it. And it's one of those things, us in society, admit it, and people will get over it, and eventually, you know what I mean? Like the whole Barry Bonds with the steroids.
Yeah.
If he comes out and just
I
admits
did it. You think he's?
you get more grace like that. People are willing to give you that second chance. And then he was always hanging outside all the major events, signing, doing autographs.
Putting it in their face, kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah. I
But
don't know.
There was no doubt he was a great ball player. And he's definitely a Hall of Famer. He averaged like 200 hits a season.
So, the thing is, so he was gambling, but
He did it as a manager, and he said he only did it
so
bet his team to win.
I'm trying to think if I was the commissioner, what would be the main problem I would have with this? Is it the integrity of the game?
It's the integrity. That's baseball. That goes back to the what was it, the White Sox or whatever,
Yeah.
or Black Sox or whatever they called them.
Yeah.
Back in the day with the whole scandal.
Scandal of that.
I mean, and when you're a manager, if you're betting on your team, you can not put a pitcher
do
in.
like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Is that enough for a lifetime ban though?
I think it was the way it went down on top of what he did. Like, it's the way you know what I mean? Like I said, if he came out, he kept saying he didn't do it. Then he changed his story to, I did it as a manager, but I didn't bet against my team.
He was all over the place. That
Yeah.
was the issue.
So,
He wasn't consistent.
fast forward. I don't want nobody like to pass away. That's like the.
No, of course.
Do you get grace for being deceased? I don't know what that space
mean-
is. Do you say this guy was a jerk when he was here, but he's gone now, and I don't know how that works. Like, what do you do?
I don't do that with OJ.
Ooh, I just got goosebumps. You don't? You still feel the same way?
No, he's an asshole and a murderer.
Wow. So you don't change because he's passed away.
No, he's still a scumbag.
Okay, so here's the other
Still
thing.
one of the best running backs to play, but
But here's the other thing.
and he was hysterical in Naked Gun.
Here's
He,
the
he was honestly, he was a great. He was very funny and he was very good in those movies.
But you said the caveat is what you said at the end. If we're talking football, if we're talking just baseball, and that should be the criteria of why these guys get in, without question, Pete Rose should be in.
Oh, just his numbers alone
Yeah.
on merit. Yeah.
So is there a moral ethics thing that goes on with these guys that vote him in, or the commissioner? I don't know.
I think there is in some instances where maybe they're not a first ballot because like of what they did off the field or whatever.
That's like. But if you're going by the metric of his sports, what he did in that sport, because he wasn't on the sauce.
No.
That would like the Barry Bonds thing. I rock with that.
The betting on baseball thing was a huge thing,
That's a
especially
huge problem because he didn't, and he could try to say he only bet on his team to win. We both know.
There's teams that threw World Series.
I am agreeing.
Yeah, the Black Sox.
Yeah.
I'm
That's a
agreeing.
scandal.
I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, all right.
It's murky. It's tough.
It's
rough,
a little.
I get it.
And especially the old-time baseball writers, we're never going to let them slide.
They're just not.
No. Now, the newer guys probably don't care as much. But those old-time guys that were there in the 80s, 90s,
Yeah.
that were there forever, They're not letting the people forget about that.
Well, I also think it's helped too that betting's become more commercialized,
Yeah.
more
That's-
out in the open.
okay.
Leagues are tied in
So
with.
what if he
yeah,
did?
now.
So what if he did it now? And
No,
then go
no, it would still
forward?
be bad now, but I feel like there's more leniency now because of
Yeah,
how.
they're letting it rock.
Yeah,
Wow. Well, I don't know.
that's just how I
R.I.P.
feel. Yeah.
R.I.P. Pete Rose.
Yeah.
That's all I guess. I don't know. I feel a little on the other side with this though. I feel they should let him in.
I feel like too many
They
people
can let
are
him in.
Yeah, they could let him in. I feel like too many people in general in baseball are left out when they should be in. I think so many people were doing steroids and they kind of picked and choose who they wanted,
Yeah.
who was in, who was out, who was good with the
It's
media, who
politics.
wasn't.
It's politics.
But like I said, it
Like
goes
most
back to that
things.
whole thing with Bonds. If he just admitted it, people like Giambi kind of came out and admitted it.
Andy Pettit admitted
Andy
it.
Pettit, and they just brought back into the fold. You know what I mean? Because we want to forgive people as in general.
You
If
think
you,
so?
unless you murder somebody,
Yeah, but Barry Bonds was also horrible with the media.
He
and
was.
They had
He
an axe to
was.
grind, and
Especially
yeah,
the Bob Costas stuff. You ever see
Yeah.
that stuff?
it's been a
and
minute,
Bob
but
Costas.
yeah. Just not a very likable guy, and
All right.
unfortunately, he's the best guy I've ever seen play.
Pete Rose. Pete Rose for president.
it's a little,
Rick Rust.
it's a little bit much. All right. Go to the NBA starting up now.
Yo, what? I heard there was something blockbuster that went down. What happened?
Carl Anthony Towns going to the Knicks.
So what did the Knicks do? Who did they give away?
Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo. So
The Randall thing, I don't like. I don't like how he was like, I don't know.
But here's the thing. They signed OG Anunoby to a max extension, and Randall, while being very different than Anunoby, basically played the same position. So it was basically like, once they gave him that max extension, they kind of tied their hands to the fact that Randall's got to be on the outs. So
Are they beating, are they beating the Sixers in a 7-game? Are they beating Miami? Are they beating Milwaukee? Because we know they're not beating the Celtics.
Celtics.
You know that. Why do this? Because from what I'm hearing, they're the ones that spearheaded this trade.
So from what I've been hearing, that there might have been other teams interested in Karl Anthony Towns, which is why the timing on this is interesting. Why it would happen now
So
instead
the
of later.
Knicks just jumped in.
Yeah, and I think because Randall was on the final year of his deal, they're like, we're probably not going to re-sign him to the contract he wants. Let's lock up Cat for the next 3 years. Let's have a legitimate center because we lost.
Is
what's his
Cat the
name?
guy? Is he the
He
guy?
averaged 22 points a game last
So-
year, 8.5 rebounds.
So this is the perfect example of a guy that has great numbers on paper, looks great, but Jesus, he is a pain in the ass to watch
he
and deal
does-
with.
Yeah, he's not yoke.
He
He's
spaces.
just not.
He spaces the floor. He is great offensively. If he has a second to shoot an open three, he will. The problem is though the dumb fouls, the low IQ plays.
Yeah, he
makes,
just looks sloppy. What you're saying?
Fouling 50 feet from the baskets when he has 4 fouls. Like it's just dumb IQ
Ridiculousness.
stuff that he doesn't need to do.
And we need you in the game.
Yeah.
Was this a move to combat the Celtics because they don't really have a true center? And maybe you're thinking of that? I don't know.
Then if there was a way you could keep the Randall Cat, I think. No disrespect to the Ginobili, but if you could keep him and Randall, and who's the other the point guard? He's nasty too.
Jalen Brunson.
Brunson.
That's
Yeah.
a squad. Like it's you need the 3. You just do. You need the 3, period, East and West. But you definitely need the 3 now. Dealing with the Celtics.
And you got to spend the money. I mean, you got to keep that together. If the Celtics can spend all the money they've spent, and
Well,
they're-
they had the cat. Who's it? Cashman? Is he the owner or the general manager for the Knicks? He's been making bad moves for years. They've been trying to call for his head. They've been trying to get him out of there because of the moves that he makes.
Well, honestly, I think they made the move because they didn't re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein, which was a big loss. The Thunder got him, and that's a big pickup for them because they needed a big man. But
All
I
right.
felt like they had a major void they had to fill, and they had 2 guys playing the same position in Randall and Anunoby, and they just maxed out Anunoby. So, like, all right, Let's get rid of Randall. I don't think they wanted to get rid of Dante DiVincenzo because he is a great three-point shooter. He was a great three-point shooter for them. Quick catch and release guy.
You're talking about Minnesota.
Well, DiVincenzo's now on Minnesota. No, I'm saying the
they,
Knicks.
They swapped him
I
out.
think they wanted to get rid of Randall. I don't think they wanted to get rid of DiVincenzo. But in order to get Karl Anthony Towns,
They had to do the
That's what the
double.
NBA is now. Threes.
All right,
Yeah.
You
so
want those
let's
guys
flip
getting into
it.
threes.
Yeah.
If you're Minnesota, is this a good look for you?
So they had kind of the same issue too with Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, both two big men playing,
I give you
together when it's
I would get Gobert out of there.
The problem is though he doesn't garnish the same trade value as Karl Anthony
'Cause
Towns
he's
does,
older.
and can't shoot, and
He's
can't-
just not.
He's just.
He's another one.
For a guy being a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, he's kind of a guy that doesn't fit in today's basketball game.
He's old school.
Like he just gets cooked by Luka Doncic in the
I
playoffs.
always felt like, this is gonna sound crazy, him and Towns together made up one player. You know what I'm saying? Because it just did to me.
It does open up the game for Naz Reid to play end minutes because he's a really good big man for
Yes,
Minnesota.
I like him. Are they? Is the Towns thing? If you take him out, are they still? Because last year they made noise. They made noise. Because I remember, who did they take out the first round? Everybody was like, "Uh-oh, here they come."
Oh, didn't they swept the Suns? I
Yeah,
believe,
they
right?
swept somebody.
Yeah, the Suns, I believe.
and everybody was like, "Yo!" And Ant-Man was going off. I remember he was going at the rant. It was the Suns.
It was the Suns.
And everybody was like, "Yo, here they come!" And then they got their bubble bursted. I don't know who it was that bursted their bubble, but they
beat the
more
Nuggets
than
in
what was
second,
exactly.
Yeah.
So they did more than what people expected.
I thought they were a year too early last year, and they kind of surprised me
Exactly.
with what they did. Yeah.
So why would you mess with that nucleus and that formula?
It's a good question. Honestly, they were the closest thing that reminded me of like the 04 Pistons
Yeah.
with all the defensive prowess they had. So I just think that they don't fear the Nuggets as much anymore.
Yes.
I think that's why they made this move. They're like, I
Yes.
think they fear the Thunder.
I forgot they took care of Phoenix and the Nuggets, and then everybody was like, "Uh-oh." And then I don't know who got them eventually. Somebody got them in the end.
Mavericks
Oh,
did,
Mavs.
I think honestly, I think it's a trade where to combat the Thunder and what they're doing because I think they think the Thunder are the team to beat in the West. So we'll find out.
We'll see. A lot of basketball.
Thunder are an excellent team.
You
too.
got some more basketball though, right? On deck.
WNBA?
Oh, but they're in there. The second game or third game.
Second game.
So Aces are up.
Liberty beat the Aces
No, yeah. Liberty beat the Aces and the Suns beat the
by
Lynx.
3. Yeah. Who's your squad?
I thought the Aces, but it's still early. It's still early. I thought the Aces were going to three-peat, but I guess the Liberty has something else to say about that. For all you WNBA fans, I want to stay tuned. I'm actually watching a little bit.
Asia Wilson's legit. Though.
She's legit.
I'll say that.
Yeah, she is
She
legit.
is very good.
Did you want to talk about the Bronny thing or no?
Bronny and Bron playing for the first time.
Dad and son
in
playing
preseason?
together? How did that look?
He was all elated.
Who? The
Bron,
father or
Bron, Bron
Bron
was elated.
He's happy to be with his son.
That's what they asked him what he's going to call him on the court, and he said he's going to go with Bron. Knicks is going to go with Bron.
So Bronny's gonna call LeBron Bron.
Bronny's going to call him
Yo,
Bron.
Bron, pass me the rock.
At least it's not.
You can't say
At
dad,
least he ain't
pass
calling
the
him
rock.
daddy. Daddy.
Dad, can you
Daddy.
pass me the rock? I got a feeling, and this is me being soap opera-ish, this isn't gonna fare well.
No, I don't think so.
I got a funny feeling.
Bronny averaged 7 points a game in the summer league.
I got a feeling, but it might. I want it to do well, but
I just can't take it as seriously as like Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
okay.
Because
I rock with that.
Like, because that was more natural to me. This felt more forced.
It was-
with,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
the
that-
behind the
incredibly
scenes.
forced.
It definitely was
Yeah, like
forced.
if you
Not
draft,
felt that way. It was.
if you draft Bronny, he'll play in Australia. Like the threats behind the scenes and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
just like, and we all know Bronny's not an NBA player. Like we can just be, we can be real about it. Like,
You think he's not?
no,
And they just win. LA's waiting
Is he?
for.
Is he G League?
Maybe.
Is he overseas?
Like there was a guy on his own team on USC that was better that didn't get drafted.
Okay.
So,
So is he overseas ready?
he's probably an overseas player just in general. Wow. I don't. He's if it wasn't for his last name.
Let me ask you this. So I always argue the maturation is something. Do you think being around his dad, he could become something?
I mean, he's been around his dad his whole life. If he hasn't done it now, when will he?
I can't rock with that. I can't rock with that.
Why?
I think that you're gonna. I think that when he starts playing with his pops at the NBA level, it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different.
Yeah, well, if Dad's feeding him the ball.
It's gonna be
I
different.
mean, I know LeBron has a lot of obligations making Space Jam 2 and other horrible movies, but I think he's had enough time to play basketball with his son and maybe make him better.
I'm dealing with two Bron haters over there.
I'm just
I just don't like the way he forced this to happen.
Yeah.
And once he retires, maybe he retires next year. When do you think he's going to retire?
2 years.
2 years?
2 years.
Do you think Brian's going to be on that team after that when they don't have to have him on it?
Yeah, don't get me
I'm sure
mind
LeBron
there.
will have an ultimatum. My son has to stay for 5 years after I retire.
But I bet you those tickets, the tickets this year, win, lose, or draw, they're gonna be up there because of him and his son playing for the same team.
But it's the Lakers.
If you want to
though.
look
They're-
at it like that.
To quote Al,
What else you got, P?
NFL injuries.
Ooh.
Lots of NFL injuries this week. Rashi Rice, Jonathan Taylor, Anthony Richardson, Christian Watson, Taysom Hill, David Andrews, and my Cowboys have to go to Pittsburgh
Yeah.
with no Micah Parsons or DeMarcus Lawrence.
So that's
no pass rush.
So that's an L for you.
I think Mike Evans is
Or
having
do you
some
think you can
injuries.
still
Evans,
pull it
yeah.
out? You think you can still pull
I
it
think
out?
they can still pull it out because that's not the most dynamic offense in the league.
All right, we'll save that for the picks. But
A lot
I
of
want
injuries.
to
Not
ask you this.
not counting A.J. Brown. Like people have been hurt. This seems like a lot of injuries this
And,
year.
and all the people that were on injured reserve to start the
Not-
season
yep.
can
You're
start to come
you're a
back.
fantasy guy. You play fantasy.
I do.
So we were talking about this, and I'm like, you might have been better off doing your draft, just the whole draft picking backups. Do you understand what I'm saying? It sounds funny.
The handcuffs.
It sounds
handcuff
funny,
line, yeah.
but just who's the starter? McCaffrey, take the backup. Who's the
I got
starter?
Mason.
Who's the starter? A quarterback. That's Tua. Take the backup. You know what I'm saying? You might have been better off taking these guys.
Well, actually, you're not good, better off taking
not
two of his
Terry
backups.
Huntley looked disgusting yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. The amount of injuries. That is insane. Is this like? I wish we. Is there a metric for injuries during the season? Did anybody know?
Yeah, they have it. I guarantee.
This is crazy. To me, this is and this early. This is crazy.
But you got to look at it like this too. Number one, it's a brutal sport. Like it's very aggressive. There's a lot of hard hitting stuff, despite taking out the headshots and stuff.
Boom.
And the second issue no one talks about is no one's playing in the preseason anymore, so no one's really 100%
Yeah,
going
they're
into the
not ready.
season,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I think
yeah.
risks more injury. And third, we have 17 games now, so we have more games, soon to be 18. That's coming.
You think that's coming down?
Oh,
the pipe?
100%, because when it does, the Super Bowl will be the day before President's Day, so it'll be a national holiday after. It just sets up perfect,
sets it up perfect
for an
for-
18-game schedule.
right.
So we're, yeah.
I don't mind.
But the
I
NFL
don't
cares
mind
about
a little extra football.
But it'll make the math easier too.
That's to my ears music.
But remember, the NFL cares about safety. That's why they keep adding games. Always remember that.
All right, perfect segue. Speaking of safety, you want to jump into the UFC? What you got on deck,
All
Daddy?
right,
Come on, baby.
Let me pull that up. But we have
We got something
two
this
title
weekend?
fights in Utah.
I want to let you guys know, I specifically brought this man here because he is the UFC expert, and he gonna drop some jewels on y'all.
My picks have been fairly good on the podcast, so I'm gonna try to continue that.
All right, let me hear something. Let
All
me
right.
know who these guys are first of
Oh,
all.
absolutely, absolutely.
All right, boom.
There's two. So we're in Salt Lake City for UFC 307.
Okay.
There are two title fights on the line. We have Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena in the women's bantamweight division,
I know the
135
Pena
pounds.
chick. I know the Pena chick.
She's
I don't know
very-
who the other chick is.
So Raquel Pennington won the belt recently. Probably one of the more forgotten champions.
What's the weight class? What's the weight class?
135 pounds.
130. Okay.
Yeah. So it's an interesting fight. Like most women's fights, it probably will go to decision. It's a
Yeah.
5-round fight. Maybe Pena has the because she is a good striker.
She's that chick.
Yeah,
I
she
know.
could-
I remember her. Yeah.
She could put her out, but Pennington does have a good chin. She is tough.
Didn't she have the belt at one time?
She did.
Beat
She did.
not
She
German-
beat,
who-
she beat Amanda Nunes.
Yes. Okay.
Back in the day, and then Amanda got her back
Avenged her,
in the rematch,
yeah.
fighting Southpaw the entire time, which was a different game plan that I didn't even know she had.
That's
so,
crazy.
Yeah, just pieced
Yeah.
her up Southpaw.
I
Came
remember,
and pieced her up.
I remember
Yeah.
Rocky did that.
But in that fight specifically, I would be like Juliana Pena is actually an underdog unless Pennington like keeps it on the ground, does like ground and pound wrestling.
But she gotta get it to the ground.
Yeah, if Pena can keep it on the feet, I can see her winning.
She can win it.
Winning a decision, maybe winning 4 or 5 rounds, 49-46 type of deal.
Boom.
But what?
With all that being
But
said,
the main event,
go ahead.
we have Alex Poatan Pereira,
Oh,
the champion.
I know who he is.
The champion at
I know who he
205
is.
pounds.
Okay.
Fighting Khalil Roundtree Jr.
I don't know who that is.
Another kickboxer.
Yeah.
Interesting path for him. He was recently suspended for a tainted supplement.
Who? Which one?
Khalil Roundtree was.
Okay.
Realized it immediately. Called the UFC. Called the anti-doping.
He told on himself.
Basically, because he realized the distributor gave him something they weren't supposed to give him. So instead of a 2-year ban, it turned out to be a 3-month ban because he was about as
He came
straightforward
clean.
as could be.
Back to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Come clean.
Just be honest.
Because I hate when the distributor gives me the wrong shit. You know what I'm saying?
The
So
wrong specimen?
Yeah.
regardless on how exactly that went down,
Yeah.
somehow throughout all of this, he went from being eligible to fight again to a title shot. It's interesting that he's getting this shot and the timing of it, but this is a very interesting fight because both of them are kickboxers. Both of them are going to stand and bang, and someone's going to get knocked out.
All right, who you got in the dub? Pena.
So
Not Pena, Al Pereira.
Pereira's a minus 525 favorite, and Khalil Roundtree's a plus 360 underdog. These numbers are just way out of whack, personally. They're both great kickboxers. Alex has already fought, and Khalil Roundtree is a southpaw. He's already beat Jamal Hill, who's a southpaw, so he has experience against that. The issue is, though, Roundtree's a beast and has some great teep kicks, some oblique kicks. Like, he can mix it up on the feet along with Pereira. I just think this fight's more 50-50, and if I'm going to put my money on the line, I'm going to put it on Khalil Roundtree at plus 360.
Really? That's what we're doing?
I can't bet Pereira at minus
You can't put
525
Pereira?
because it's too 50-50 of a fight for me. So that's why I would take Khalil Roundtree to win this fight on Saturday.
Wow. I guess I'm going with the popular name. That's all. That's because I don't really know that
Well,
much.
and that's the thing. I think people just see the name. They just see him
That's what
KOing
happens.
everyone.
I'm rocking with you.
Yeah.
I rock with you because you know you watch it and
Yeah.
you see these guys.
I'm just
All
looking
right.
at the numbers. I'm like, that's just for the betting purposes, it's just too spaced out. Like when Pereira's been winning his fights, he's been like a minus 160, minus 170 favorite in all of them. The fact that he's minus 525 now is just insanity. It's gotten too far to a point. And we'll get into it with the NFL.
Yeah.
When like a team's flying too high,
You
know,
think they do that on purpose though? I think that's a
with lines they always it's wherever the public wants to take it.
yeah. So when the people, but they'll come out and say, "This is what we think." Then when the people start betting, it starts boom, boom.
Well, because
boom,
they made
boom,
him a
getting
3-1
closer.
favorite to start initially
Yeah.
when betting lines open. So the fact that he's moved up this much, it's gone too far in one way. So this is the time you take Roundtree and you take the plus odds, and in a 50-50 fight, if you win, you don't have to be right off that often to be profitable.
Well-
and Roundtree's got a solid chance to win this fight
Wow.
because Pereira's been knocked out himself. Adesanya's knocked him
Yeah,
out
I
cold.
saw
so,
that.
Yeah.
But he caught him though.
yeah.
That's all it takes.
Yeah,
UFC.
Yeah, that's why I love UFC because there's not this game going on with promoters and stuff and the boxers picking and choosing their fights. One or two guys are like, no, you're fighting him and she's fighting her.
For the most part,
That's
it's
it.
yeah. There's
That's
the champion and the number one contender,
Yeah.
and they fight.
And
You
all
can't
of-
avoid Pete. You can't be
Every
ducking
one of their
people.
records has blemishes on them. There's
Yeah.
no zero. Like, who has a zero?
I know you've been ducking me, Balboa.
I wish boxing would take this UFC motto, honestly, so that way
Yeah.
we're not hiding the 40-0 with like 36
Yeah, right.
knockouts.
And who are these people you even got
Yeah.
to 40? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. What else you got, baby?
I was just gonna say, if I can get into it some more if you want, but Kayla Harrison's on the card.
I have no clue.
She is the next. She's the future at bantamweight at 135.
Okay.
So she's facing Caitlin Vieira or
No
Caitlin
clue.
Vieira.
Yeah.
She's gonna probably dominate. She's a minus 900 favorite.
Okay.
Kayla Harrison is.
So do you put money on these?
I do.
How?
Well, I'm not gonna bet minus 900 Kayla Harrison.
No,
That's
no.
the point, but
You dabble a little bit though.
yeah,
You don't go
like,
big time.
Like for example, the last time I was on, I had Sean Strickland by decision, and it just against Paulo Costa, it just
Yeah.
made too much sense. Like he's gonna fight smart, he's gonna pressure him. Costa doesn't like fighting off the back foot.
Boom.
And he won a decision fight, 49-46.
And you want some cash.
Yeah, it was good. Plus, I think it was plus 180 or plus 200. Yeah,
There
it
you
was
go,
nice.
baby.
Nice little bet.
Yo, here's what I'm gonna do. I know we'll probably have you back on.
Yeah.
The next time you're on, if these things come through, we might have to have a little side talk. I'll be like, yo, J-Mo, what's up, baby?
If Khalil Roundtree wins, oof.
We need to have a
That would
little
be
talk.
something, yeah.
I need some money.
Yeah.
What else you got, Pete?
That's it. How much more do you want?
I want it all. Brand new socks and drawers. But anyway, we're going to take a quick break. Episode 56. LT is in the building.
Let's go. Let's get into the NFL a little bit. There were a couple games last night.
Yes.
We had Detroit and Seattle. Detroit Lions, Seattle Seahawks.
What'd you see?
That was a barn burner
That
of
was
a
a good
game.
game. That was a good game.
Lions won 42-29.
That was a good game.
Jared Goff did not have an incompletion the entire game. He was 18 of 18 for 292
Are you
yards.
serious? Are you serious?
I have not seen that.
They looked.
I don't think it's ever happened.
And
18 straight
he
passes.
well, 19 for 19 if you consider the catch for a touchdown too.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
He
you
caught-
think that-
Amon-Ra
that
St.
was
Brown
like-
threw him a touchdown
Let me
too.
Little
make
Philly
this
Dilly
clear.
special.
A little Philly special, baby. Everybody's
Yeah.
doing that stuff. Cats are doing the tush push, and now they're doing the Philly
Cats have
special.
been doing the tush push for a long time before Philly ever started it.
We ain't talking about. we ain't talking about the ACI, please.
But
Go ahead.
that was a very exciting game. A lot of points. This was the real test for Seattle because they had kind of played the Skylar Thompson Dolphins. They played the Patriots. They kind of played like lesser teams. And
Yes.
They're lucky they didn't play the Huntley Dolphins because it would have been even worse.
But I still like Seattle though. Don't do that. They look
so
tough.
Preseason, I bet Seattle win the division at plus 800. So
They look tough.
I still
Seattle
think-
looks tough.
I still think they'll get it together. The problem is they had two of their defensive linemen that were banged up going
Yeah,
into that game,
they-
and Detroit lives
They
and
look
breathes
tough.
running the ball between the tackles.
It was
So-
exactly what you said too. They were going back and forth
Yeah.
for a while, and then Detroit kind of got the best of them. I feel like people are not talking about Detroit's running game too.
Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery are legit.
They look ridiculous, man. Every time I looked up, they were gashing.
The modern day Thunder and Lightning from
It's
the USC, Reggie Bush,
crazy.
Lendale White
Yeah,
days.
like what do you
The last
do?
few years, they've had that combination of running back with Swift.
Yo, Detroit is built different now. I don't care what nobody says. They're built different.
They're my Super Bowl team this year
Really?
in the NFC.
I don't know about if they're built that different.
You got to. They made it to the NFC Championship last year.
Yeah.
Like they're right there. The only weakness they probably have is in the secondary, but
Defensively.
like they are.
And they
they're
addressed that too, and it's still an issue.
Yeah. Are they?
Well, I mean, you're facing DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Tyler Lockett. Like you're facing some good receivers. So
Yeah.
in fairness, so
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll see. I'm sorry that
Yeah.
flies over
Yeah,
there.
it's fly.
What else you see yesterday, man?
I saw a very boring game. We can talk about the other one.
That game was horrendous.
The Dolphins are in a world of hurt right now.
Why are you saying that?
As much as I think Tua is very overrated, when you compare him to Skylar Thompson,
It just shows you how good Tua is compared.
Well,
Yeah.
Thompson was it
no,
Thompson?
No,
it's
Huntley,
Tyler
Huntley,
Huntley.
Huntley.
No, but like Skylar
Huntley.
Thompson from last week,
Yes.
Tyler Huntley this week.
Yeah.
with that much offensive talent, to these guys not to be able to put up any points.
It's unfortunate.
Tyreek and Waddle, they don't look right to me. I don't know if it's the Tua thing. They just don't look right to me.
I think it has a combination too of Mike McDaniel's timing offense, and when you don't have the reps and the amount of hours put into it,
Yeah.
like you're gonna struggle. And when you're a quarterback that's not as talented, you're really gonna struggle. And I think that's what we're seeing.
Are you questioning McDaniel's coaching prowess now?
No,
I am.
I can't do
Really?
it because
Really?
I mean, at the end of the day, you need the players in order to be successful.
You have one player missing, essentially. And you couldn't work some magic. You couldn't do anything against Tennessee,
You need
who
to
has
have-
no dubs. And Tennessee had Mason Rudolph come in and smack you up.
But I've told people for years, NFL the last 7 to 8 years, 70% of the game is the quarterback.
You need a halfway decent backup, but they don't even have
you
halfway
need the
decent
backup.
backup.
They pulled that guy 2 weeks ago, I think. They brought the Hunley cat in.
Well, they had Mike White, and then they cut him in the
Why?
preseason.
Why? Like that's what I'm saying about coaching.
Yeah.
Why would you do this? And you just gave Tua all that money, and you know how he is with the. I hate doing this.
I mean, the Jets
with
made
the
this-
injuries.
Jets made this mistake last year with Aaron Rodgers when he got hurt. Now they have a legit backup in Tyrod Taylor. So
You need someone that can. You don't need a spectacular backup. You just need someone that can run the game for you.
You need exactly. You need that guy to man the ship until your guy comes back.
the issue is, though, for as many few great starting quarterbacks, there's equally few great backup quarterbacks.
I'll give you that. I'll give
So
you
that's
that.
the issue too.
All right, so it's gonna be interesting. I'm watching Miami now. You're essentially how
they're-
many dubs you give them now?
It depends when Tua comes back. It's all contingent on
And
when
if he
wants
gets
to play.
knocked out again,
Oh, if he gets knocked out again,
I'm
he's in
saying,
trouble.
even if he does come back, when he comes back, where are they? 4 wins? 5
no,
wins?
they're a 500 team if he can come back soon.
He can't come back until week 7 minimum,
Yeah.
and if they keep losing games,
They're
I
gonna,
think they're going to be a
they'll
5 or
lose,
6 win team.
They'll
when
lose
it's all
out.
said
They'll
and
lose
done.
out till then.
Because no, people are also not realizing the Dolphins have a murderous schedule.
They'll
And the-
lose out until he comes back, and then when he comes back, they'll probably still could potentially be losing.
If I were the Dolphins, I would have rather had the tough schedule now instead of later.
Yeah.
But in that division, the Jets aren't
Yeah,
anything
you're
to
right. And
about.
the Patriots. I give
And the
you that.
Patriots aren't anything to worry
I'll
about.
rock, I'll rock
Well,
with you. They're lucky.
I'll say this. This is how their season ends. They're on the road against Green Bay,
Loss.
at home against the Jets,
Loss.
on the road against the Texans,
Loss.
at home against the 49ers,
Loss.
on the road against the Browns. They probably will win that
They
one.
might win that game.
And then on the road against the Jets.
Loss.
So that's a
Loss.
That's a ridiculously
Yeah.
tough schedule.
How can you call the Jets losses the way they're playing right now?
They're gonna beat this. They're gonna beat this Dolphins team. I feel.
I just think
I just feel-
Rodgers still hasn't gotten comfortable with the offense because he was hurt all
Exactly.
of last year.
I think
The only one he's hitting is Lazard.
Lazard. I'll give you
Because
that.
he's comfortable with
Yeah.
him from
But
Green Bay days.
I'm saying this, and I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan at all. He is gonna heat up
Yeah.
as the season progresses. I feel. I would put my money more on him heating up than Tua coming back and heating up.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. But what else, man? What else?
There's 2 4-0 teams left.
Who is it? Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Kansas City
And the-
cheats.
and the
Chiefs.
And the Minnesota Vikings.
I thought Seattle had the 12th man. The Chiefs have the 12th man with the officials.
Yo.
That's for a friend who
I
always talks about the Chiefs and the officials in the
I
same
can't
sentence.
speak for the Chiefs.
Shout out, Phil.
Because they had like some shady stuff going on. But Minnesota looks legit.
And can we? I just want to talk about that game for a second because guess who they are
Is
playing
Sam
in Week
Darnold
5?
The guy who?
They are in London.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Playing-
I think I did see that.
The New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers. I think that we can talk about the Vikings being for real or not, but a lot of it has to do with your schedule and when you play teams because they faced Jordan Love coming off the injury last week.
I give you that.
Like, I think they're very fortunate with who they're playing and when they're playing them. Rodgers obviously isn't right
I don't
now.
know if I can rock with that. They're
No,
they're beating the brakes off of teams. Like I get it if they're up 14-0 when we look up 21-0. I don't know.
I've seen this Sam Darnold before.
I do agree.
He did this in Carolina. He started 3-0.
He has like that.
He's got Addison and Jefferson around him.
But he has weapons now.
Yeah, he has
But
weapons.
I do be waiting. I said that. I'm like,
Yeah.
you just wait.
When does it become pumpkin time for Sam Darnold?
Yeah, I love that. Brilliant.
Yep.
Because he does. I feel like he does that, and that train is never late. He does do that. You know?
Yeah, but he's not been in as good of a situation, I think.
You think this is the best offense he's ever
in
been
his
in?
career.
Can we
Yeah.
talk about Kevin O'Connell as coach of the year, as an offensive genius? Because he is just in the past few years, like just dialing up plays. Just the offense always looks solid with him. Vikings look good.
Is he the coordinator?
He's the head coach.
He's the head coach?
Yeah.
Who's the coordinator? The
Well,
Brian
he-
Flores?
No, he's the defensive
The
coordinator.
defensive guy.
And Flores and Tua have a history. We can try to bring it back to that.
Yeah.
But Flores as a defensive coordinator is insane. And the reason I like the Vikings so much in that game, neutral game in London,
yeah.
Rodgers got banged up at the end of that game too against Denver.
He knows Minnesota, too. He was in that division, right? Rodgers?
But I don't think he knows his body yet, that he's not as quick as he once was. He can't move around. And Brian Flores is not going to let him just sit back there all
Put the
day.
ears back. Go at him.
I mean, you and I watched that game. That was a horrible game to watch.
Yeah.
You're losing to Bo Nix.
Yeah, I've never
That was
seen
horrible.
I've never seen a guy with 60 yards receiving and his quarterback have 53 yards passing in the game or whatever it was. That's a new thing for me.
Oh, passing in the NFL is
Down.
way down.
It's
I think
down.
it's
It's down.
averaging like 200 a game. But
Because of the too deep safety, everything underneath. Like
Yeah,
if you
you-
want to beat us, you're gonna
You're
throw
not
it
beating
6
us-
yards
yeah,
at a
you're not
time.
beating us over the top.
Yeah, it's very rare that
We'll
they do it
see.
these days, unless you have
well,
Xavier Worthy.
it's been going down for 5 years now. I
Yeah.
looked it up.
Yeah.
It was probably like it's going down like 50 yards a game average since 5 years ago.
Wow,
And you think it's because of defenses?
it's how they play defense.
Over the
That's how
top.
they've-
Yeah, with the cover two,
Well, why
with
do
the
I
two
feel like
deep
I'm still
safety.
seeing explosive plays,
the-
though?
No, I mean Xavier Worthy was the fastest guy in the combine.
Yeah.
He blew past it on the Chargers this past Sunday, and that was a perfect throw by Mahomes.
Yeah.
So like you're still gonna have that here and there, but it's fewer and farther between with the way defense is played now.
And
Yeah.
where's the tight endsman this year?
MIA. Trust me, I'm on
Abs-
fantasy. I was looking for
I
somebody
think they're
to pick
blocking
up.
more.
Like my guy was hurt, and I'm looking at the backups who I can pick up. I don't even know who these guys are.
Yeah.
And Kelsey, there was a Kelsey sighting for the first time last week.
I think that coincides with Rashid Rice getting hurt though,
Yeah.
because the over the middle was taken away.
That's exactly what you're saying. The only reason why he got to show up because the other guy got hurt.
Yeah, the refs are going to have to do some extra work now that Rice is out to help Kansas City out. They're definitely going to have to do a little
What other
overtime.
game? What other game? Who else was there?
Well, can I bring up something quick
Go ahead.
about the Chiefs? They might need a wide receiver. Devontae Adams looks like he might want to get traded. Would they ever do an in-division trade? It's rare.
Is that what the Raiders won't do that?
I
They're
don't
not gonna
know.
Do that.
The
They're not. They're not gonna do
Commanders and Eagles did a trade earlier this year when the Eagles got Jahan Dotson, so anything's possible. But I
that. Did
just
they
don't.
pay Adams? Did they pay him?
Oh yeah, Adams he's making good money right now.
Yeah.
So how would that trade go down?
They'd have to figure out the salary cap implications and all that stuff. But Chiefs are in dire need of a wide receiver.
No, you still got the Worthy cat, right?
Yeah, but it's
I-
one cat.
I think he's more of a gadget guy. I don't think he's like either a jet sweep or just go deep guy. I don't think his route tree's fully formed yet. where
They're
you
beat
can
up
rely
too,
on him like
right?
that.
Pacheco's out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
They're beat up.
that's what I'm saying. You need a
they
guy.
need some help on offense.
But it's back to what you
But-
said.
but
They
I'll-
don't need help if they got the officiating.
I can bring up another name too that could
Go
be
ahead.
traded. Amari Cooper. He is miserable in Cleveland.
That makes more sense than Devontae because Devontae's
Yeah.
in that division.
Yeah.
I can't see
Don't be
that.
surprised if Amari Cooper might go to the Chiefs too. That could be a possibility. But I
Imagine Mahomes getting him.
Yeah,
Because you can't-
that's crazy.
But you just can't rely on Justin Watson, Sky Moore, and these guys that have
Yeah.
been there for years that are just guys. They haven't proven anything. They've
Yeah.
had their shots, and it's just. And
Where are you grabbing that from? You're just saying off the top of your head.
well, Amari Cooper. Sadly I've been watching too many Browns games. He's just
The Doodoo Browns.
he's miserable with Watson. It's just not clicking.
Did they pay him? Did they pay?
Well, and
they pay Cooper?
So his contract got what is it? It got switched up
Because of the Watson thing?
It got restructured, so he's very
That's why he doesn't like the Watson cap. I guarantee you.
I mean, he's still getting paid.
Yeah, he's gonna
but it's
probably get his money
helping
off.
out the cap for the Cleveland.
I
But
guarantee you that's what this is about.
but at the same time, by doing that, it makes him very, very optimal to trade for because he doesn't hurt the books too much for a team trading
when
for
when
him.
you restructure, you're usually giving him more money up front.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's not going to be a big salary hit when he goes to another team.
I'll be stunned if Amari Cooper isn't traded, I'll be honest. Devontae is more 50-50 for me. I can see
That's
Amari
right,
Cooper being
yeah.
traded. Wow. Yeah.
Now, but how does Cleveland spin that? Like, we got rid of Amari, but we still got
we
Deshaun.
still got Deshaun Watson on the books.
How about them getting rid of Joe Flacco because they didn't want to have Deshaun Watson feel like there was someone right on his
That's
heels
awful.
taking his job
That is awful.
when Joe Flacco right
He
now
saved
could
you last year.
Yeah. I think Jameis Winston, who's the backup there
He's
right
gonna
now.
save him. He's gonna save him.
But the moral dilemma Cleveland has is the cap hit is 178 million this year. It's just insane.
The dilemma is
the next
D-Wop.
3 years they're screwed. They're screwed because of the fully
the
guaranteed
D-Wop.
deal. Yeah, they're in trouble. Can you just sit a guy like that?
How do you get out of that? Is there any
You
way
don't.
in your mind to get out of that?
When you fully guarantee someone like that and they're underperforming like this, and you mortgage the future, there's no
You just
getting
take
out.
the hit.
There's no getting out.
So you essentially sunk your franchise for how many years?
Next 3 years at quarterback.
Yeah.
Wow.
Never make a trade that can financially cripple you. Where
Because you had a what? A premonition, or you saw
No,
him?
Go
The
ahead.
talent was there from the Texans.
That's
He
debatable
looked-
at the
he looked-
end.
no.
He was a top 5 quarterback
At the
in
end?
2020. In
At the
2020.
end? At the end?
In 2020.
Yeah.
he was a top
When he
5
got into
quarterback.
trouble?
Before, no, that's when he got moved.
Yeah.
Going into that, he definitely threw up the numbers. And you're thinking, this isn't a great team, and he's putting these numbers. What if we get him even more talent?
I think I can speak on Cleveland's behalf on this a little bit.
You watch a lot of the games.
Because you like
so-
to find it.
I watch a lot of teams' games, but I have been focused on Cleveland a lot because it's a very interesting team to me, despite how terrible they play offensively.
I actually watch the awful team.
So, two things. They've been a horrible franchise for the better
Ever.
part of 2.5 decades.
Ever.
I think it got to the point where they were so desperate for a good quarterback, and Watson had no interest in Cleveland. They're like, well, what if we just fully guarantee $230 million? They're like, oh, okay, now I'm interested in
Yeah.
Cleveland. And so that's one issue. So, like, they were so starving for a quality quarterback.
Who's the last one? Bernie Kosar?
Bernie Kosar.
Maybe?
The last Pro Bowl one was Derek Anderson a Pro Bowler that one year? I don't even know, in 2009. But and then Jimmy Haslam, the owner, he's sick of seeing crap on his team over and over. And they have a really good defense. Myles Garrett, they have a lot of studs on defense. And he's just like, look, I'm going to go get Deshaun Watson. That's the missing piece. We've been missing a quarterback for years.
Boom.
We got to make this work. And I think that's what he's telling Kevin Stefanski, their head coach right now. I don't care how you do it. You have to make this work because we have no outs. And this is a life lesson for everyone.
And he jammed him up.
If you're ever making a trade, always give yourself an out. Don't do
out.
something where where if it doesn't work out, you're
screwed.
completely screwed. You can't do that.
Wow.
So, and that's where Cleveland is, unfortunately. And they have a really good team around him, except at quarterback. And I just think possibly he's mailed it in and just collecting checks, or all the off-the-field stuff's gotten to him. He's just not the same
Maybe
person
they need to
anymore.
get him back in the massage parlor.
And just to
I
let you
can't
know,
advocate that.
just to let you know, his last season with Houston, 2020, he threw for 4,800 yards, 33 touches, 7 interceptions. That's why Cleveland tried to
That's
get
a
him.
top 5
is,
quarterback.
is that enough for you to give him $245 million?
If in Cleveland's shoes at that time, I can understand why they did it.
And how much of that was guaranteed?
100%.
100 and something? Or
Oh,
100?
230 million. It was all
Oh,
guaranteed.
the whole thing. That and everybody flipped out when all the other owners, none of the other
Yeah.
owners wanted him to do that.
I don't care. There's only maybe 1 or 2 quarterbacks in the history of the NFL you do that. If that.
Mahomes.
Well, then that
And-
shows
and
Cleveland's
TB.
desperation, though. That shows how desperate they were
And
at
that's
that
what,
time.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, he had a 4,800-yard season, a 3,800-yard season, a 4,000-yard season. He put up 26 touchdowns, 33.
This isn't even including the rushing, and he was a great
Yeah, he
running
was,
quarterback,
he
too.
was.
He's not even
All right.
running anymore.
We're beating on it.
Yeah.
What else
And
you got?
that 2020 season, he had 440 yards, 444
Rushing.
yards rushing.
So he had
He had
5,200.
almost a 5 average, 4.9. So he was the man. That's why they did that.
You still can't justify that, though. I don't know.
What happened to Buffalo Bills?
I'm
thought
glad
they-
we brought this up. I'm glad we
I
brought
thought they
this
were the
up.
top team. Going into last night, I'm like, I got them up there, one of the top teams. I think they're better. They were better than obviously Kansas City, the way they were playing. And then last night happened.
We've seen this movie before.
I know I'm usually not the one to ask questions, but people are asking, are the Bills on fraud watch?
Well, they were saying it about Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh's not on there
They
anymore.
are who we thought they
'Cause
were.
They got exposed.
That was an absolute beatdown from pillar to post by
I
the
think-
Ravens.
Here's what I think. I think Baltimore's a good team.
They've always been a good
They
team.
are.
No,
good
I'm
team.
saying within this
They're one of the
year.
best teams. No,
That's my I just think they were a good team. They potentially could have won that Chiefs game.
the Raiders game is an anomaly. It makes
Yes.
no sense how that happened.
Baltimore's a good team.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing that nobody's talking about. In that first game, where they handing Derrick Henry the ball, they're starting to incorporate him in the offense, and
Yeah.
you see what's going on. You see what's going on.
Here's the thing too, though. Like I said, with no preseason, we kind of see preseason the first 4 weeks now. With,
I used to be against that because me
Yeah.
and this dude used to argue about that, but
Yeah.
now I'm
But
on
you see
that
how
side.
sloppy the
I'm
NFL is.
on that
Yeah.
side now. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, they do look awful.
Yeah. So like, I think this is the week we start to see more normalcy.
They get
like,
acclimated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the Ravens just showed like what they are when they're at their peak, and that's a scary team.
They look tough.
Problem is though, Lamar in the playoffs
You think
is
he's
a little
gonna-
lackluster.
But we'll see.
We'll see. Josh Allen, if he can avoid Mahomes, maybe he's got a shot.
Him and Allen are the same to me when it comes playoff time. Lamar is a little bit worse, but Allen does the same thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And when I don't know, because he did have some good games against the Chiefs, but ultimately you still lost.
Allen played toe-to-toe with Mahomes
He
in some
did.
games.
He
but
did.
The problem
He
is,
did.
though, you can't just like lose weapons on offense and just expect the offense to remain the same over time.
Yeah.
And losing Matt Milano on defense, like, the Bills are a team you can run on. Sorry about
Yeah. Go ahead.
that. The Bills are a team you can run on, and if the Bills can't address that,
They're
in
gonna
a-
get exposed.
The play action, they're just gonna get crushed.
They're
yeah.
gonna get exposed.
So
And I feel like some of their dubs too. They were getting the jump on teams.
Yeah.
When they face a team that they don't get the jump on,
yeah,
they're in trouble.
100%.
They're in trouble.
Yeah.
What else, P?
Want to talk a little bit about the Commanders?
Yes.
Jaden Daniels.
That dude.
I'm eating serious crow right now.
Oh, you didn't like him?
I didn't think he was the guy.
Oh wow.
I didn't think he was the guy in this draft. I'm so wrong about that.
Just any quarterback that's
As of
taken
right
number
now.
2 seems to be the guy.
Like he looks like the guy.
Cliff Kingsbury has a lot to do with
The
that
coordinator.
too. He's running a great offense for him, scheming guys open, and he's running and not like taking abuse. He knows when to go out of
Go
bounds.
out and go
He knows when
down.
to. Well, he doesn't know how to slide, but he knows when to just go down.
He
gotta-
does
I
make
gotta
me
teach him the
nervous
baseball
because
slide.
he makes me nervous because of his stature though, because he is a little guy to me.
Well, he's 6'4", but yeah, he's
He
only
looks
200
like
pounds.
Yeah.
he's just he. Don't get me wrong, he's tall,
lanky.
but he's just like
It's
bones.
a small frame, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's the only thing that makes me a little nervous. But
What were your thoughts on Jaden Daniels coming in?
I didn't think he was going to take off this fast. I thought he was, going to be good, especially top pick. But compared to everybody else, I mean, obviously Drake May's not even getting on the field yet, which could happen sooner than later. I
Don't-
feel bad for the guy. I know,
don't do it.
but everybody's getting sat. I mean,
Bo Nix doesn't look good.
No,
McCarthy is not even playing.
even last year, Bryce
I
Young.
think he will be good.
Caleb
JJ McCarthy.
Williams is a duff. far as I'm concerned.
He made a couple good throws in the Rams game, but the
He's
Rams are a
tough.
pass funnel defense. He should have done more.
If you're comparing him to the Daniels cat, it's not even close in my
no,
eyes.
he's not there right now.
Daniels is the only one.
Yep.
I'll say this. I just want to shout out fantasy football. I'm in 6 leagues. I have Jane Daniels on 5 of them, so
No,
I'm very
geez.
happy. I'm very happy.
Did you take him as your starter? Or?
He fell in all the drafts to like 8, 9, 10. One draft he fell at the 15th round.
You are
So I have
lucky.
like Kyler Murray in that league, and I'm just starting Jane Daniels now.
Yeah. Well, they've won 3 in a row now. They absolutely trounced the Cardinals, which I didn't. The Cardinals have been looking better.
Yeah.
They
They're
beat the
first-
Bengals, who were getting their stuff together. And well, the Giants, but in the first game they lost was to the Buccaneers.
And Buccaneers look tough.
But that's the thing. At that first game, you're like, "Wow, they lost to the Buccaneers."
Yeah,
But now it's
you
like,
look at the
"Oh well,
Buccaneers,
maybe
yeah,
that's not so
maybe that's
bad."
not the case because Baker looks crazy.
Yep.
But who is Washington playing this week? Cleveland Browns, who we were talking about. They have a really good defense. Let's see if Jaden can continue that against them. It'll be a test.
We'll see.
Yeah, speaking of Baker Mayfield, what happened to that Eagles team that didn't show up? Was it too hot for them?
There's a soap opera going on in Philly. I hate to say it and I hate to do it because I never like to do this. The coach and the quarterback, there's something. I don't know what it is. There's something going on with these two dudes, man.
Is he on the clock, Sirianni?
In Philly, you're always on the clock.
That's fair. That's fair.
You're always on the
That's
clock. And I hate doing this too. And me and P, I was telling P, I've been hearing whispers of Belichick.
I think he gets whispered everywhere.
No, but this is some serious whispering because he was on Pat McAfee, and they asked him about Philly, and he went in. He goes, they lost a lot. Like he was specifically, it's almost like they asked him on purpose, and he had the answer on purpose. He's like, I don't know why people think this is such a good team. They lost 10 out of the last 13 games, going back to last season.
Yep.
He goes, they're not that good. Basically, and the way he said it, it was almost like borderline advertising himself. You know what I'm saying? When somebody asks you something, and you have the answer like that. So I don't know.
Maybe Belichick told him to ask him the question before.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't put it past this cat.
But he's very knowledgeable. So he's done this with
Yeah,
the
he is a
Cowboys too.
savant. He is a savant.
When he starts talking about like how much he likes Micah Parsons or this and that,
Yeah.
and people are like, oh, he's going to the Cowboys when McCarthy's out. So he's just that smart. He's up on everything.
But Sirianni is stinking up the joint. That's the only
Well,
thing I can say. You
he's
can't
got-
say that about McCarthy.
You got at least you got to build an excuse. Your top 2 receivers are out.
Okay.
Well, top 3, Dylan Covey's out too.
I rock with that. I rock with that.
Thank God you made the trade for Watson, right?
I rock with that. Dotson, you're talking
Dotson,
about.
I mean, sorry, I've been talking about Watson in my head.
Dotson.
He's still learning the playbook, right?
Yes, he is. But let's jump into picks real quick.
All right.
Who you got? What we got this week?
All
Just
right,
a couple games.
I like I said, I put Jets and Vikings on here just because it's a London game. It's 9:30. Everybody, when you wake up, you get to see some football. If you got the NFL Network.
I got Minnesota. Until they lose, I got them.
I have Minnesota. in that game
Minnesota
as
all the
well.
way around.
It's a
Boom.
bad matchup. For
He brought up the
Rutgers.
Browns and Commanders. Just because the Commanders have been looking so good.
I'm
That's
going-
at Washington too. So
I hate being cliche, but I'm gonna go with the Commanders.
Is it time to go Cleveland +3 because the hype's too big on Washington?
Well, we do straight up. We don't do
Oh,
the spread.
okay. All
But
right,
you can if you want
All
to.
right, all right.
We just go who's gonna get the dub.
All right, that's fair.
I think it's hard. I think it's hard enough to just pick the game
I know.
straight up right now.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
Definitely going Commanders right now.
Yeah.
Until the Browns
They're on fire.
show anything.
Who's the backup for the Browns?
Jameis Winston.
Jameis is
Yeah,
playing.
it's time to.
He might get the writing's on the wall. It is.
Bills and the Texans.
I love this game.
2,
love
3, and 1
this game.
teams.
This is a tough
This is
one.
a tough one because the Texans haven't looked great,
They don't look like how they
And-
looked last year.
and Buffalo just got the ass handed to them.
This feels like a pick the Bills, get right game all day.
You think so?
It feels that way, but it's in Houston.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be a close game regardless.
What's the line on this one? It's got to be 3 points, right?
Or
Gotta be
maybe
Houston 1.5 point
close. 1.5, yeah.
favorites.
So
Under 3.
So maybe Baltimore opened up the playbook, and now you're looking at the blueprint on how to beat the Bills.
But they don't have the running backs.
But that's
to-
what I was going to say. Is Joe Mixon going to be healthy? If he is, I like the Texans. If
Yeah.
it's going to be Cam Akers again, I like the Bills. I think it.
Derrick Henry's a big factor in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give
and
you
Joe
that.
Mixon's still got it. He's
Yeah.
still playing great.
Well, I'm taking Texans. I'm gonna take because it's in Texas. That's the only thing I can boil it down to.
I think Mixon is going to play. It's tough for me because I think this is like the Bills played their worst game. You know they're going to come back
Yeah.
strong. It's such a coin.
Yeah.
I'm not touching it. I'm just stay away from
How
it.
can you not touch it? How can you not
All right,
touch it?
fine. On the
Pick
record, all
somebody.
right, Texans on the record. But I'm not
Here we
touching it.
go. Who you got for me?
Buffalo.
Buffalo?
go
All right.
Buffalo.
Go ahead.
My picks have been shit anyway, so it doesn't matter. Cards versus the 49ers.
Ooh. This is another good game, but because of injuries in my mind.
Yep.
Because if it wasn't injuries, I would take 49ers all day. And the Cardinals are coming off an L.
Yep.
Jordan Mason, 85.5 over/under rushing yards. He's going to get the rock again a bunch of times. They're going to control the clock.
Good, because I have him in fantasy.
That's a fantasy guy right there. That's his
I
guy.
have him in 2 leagues, yeah.
So San Fran go back to back?
Back to back.
Because they beat the Patties last week.
Yeah, they'll win this game.
Yeah, I got
They'll
San
win
Fran.
this
This
game.
is a division game too, right?
Yeah.
Debo's back to the only. We
I'm
only
not-
missing McCaffrey, and Mason's been great.
I'm going with Arizona.
I'll say
All
this
right.
for the bettors. The 49ers are favored by 7.5. I do like the Cardinals to cover, but I like the 49ers to win.
Okay.
Last game, Monday night game, Saints and Chiefs.
Ooh.
This is such a tough one.
Do the Chiefs get their first loss?
Do the Chiefs ever lose in prime time?
Ooh. all eyes are going to be on this game.
Why?
Taylor Swift be there.
Because
Yeah.
it's the cruise.
There's so many things. There's so many things. So many factors to take in.
I'm taking the Chiefs until they lose, baby. I'm taking Chiefs.
Taysom Hill got banged up. He is a big part of their red zone for the Saints. I like the Chiefs to survive. It'll be ugly, but it'll be like a 2017 type game. It'll be ugly, but they'll win.
What you got for you?
It's Chiefs in prime time. They're not going to let them lose. They will not allow
They're
it.
not going to let them lose.
Mama Kelsey will not allow it. She'll be in a ref uniform.
I guess I'm a home team guy this week, it's looking like.
Yo. I appreciate you for coming through, Jameson.
Absolutely. Love being here. This is great.
I got to do a
Great
couple
spot.
shout-outs. My man, Brian Enos, he wanted me to shout out his boy, Jason Carmer. Big Falcons fan. I want to shout out to Macy. I want to shout out to Supreme Clientele. Don't think I don't see. I see everything. I want to shout out Dottie Brown, Corey Cooper. P, got any shout outs?
I want to shout out Bruce Livingston
Oh,
and the
yes.
Ave for letting us do our
Bruce
show here.
Livingston
Absolutely.
and the Ave, 1428 Hartford Avenue. Come through. The spot is crazy. Sunday is the only day they're closed. You know what I mean? What you got, Jameson? Any shout outs?
Shout out to my mom and dad, to the postal service that
To God for getting me here.
to the postal
Yo,
service.
shout out to Ryan and Touching Tips. I keep forgetting to plug his. He has a podcast.
Yes, he does.
They do on Thursday. Shout out to Ryan Wilkie at Touching Tips.
Yes.
Shout
out to the postal service, to all my guys I work with that follow the podcast when I'm on. You know, I respect the love, and my friends that follow too respect that absolutely.
Episode 56, Lawrence Taylor.
Like-
P, take us out, baby.
Like, share, subscribe.
What he said. Peace.